Yeah, how's it going, guys? It's Richie Unicorn Caller here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We are back with a lot of stuff to talk about, primarily the Spring 2026 test realm slash update that we will be getting very, very soon. Now, before you comment, first, the entire outfit, the hat, robe, and boots that you see right now is from the Crying Sky raid, aka the Azteca raid, the hardest raid in the entire game. And then the wand is actually from the Ghastly Conspiracy raid, which is actually an 8-player raid and it's actually way easier. But yeah, that's where I got the outfit from. I'll be doing separate videos about that. But let's jump right into the whole spring test realm situation. I have it all written down here, so it's not going to be too much yapping. I'm basically just kind of describing my time on test realm and just kind of showing you the stuff I like and the things I don't like. Which, first of all, starting off with the elephant in the room, Spellment. Which have been, I'm not going to say anything like, I don't know. Spellments have been a pretty big thing for a while now. And this update is either going to be a hit or miss for a lot of players. And that can just be said about any update in particular. All the updates are subjective, so it's got, you're either gonna like it, you're either not gonna like it. But primarily what they're doing is that you can train the multiple paths of spellments, which is pretty cool. We had showcased that in the test run videos if you wanted to check that out. But basically you can have like the same card, but it could be like different paths, which I love, right? I also love the 500 spellments that we get from the tier 5 capstone rewards, which they had recently added in as well. And I also love the reduced cost of the tiers all across the board, which is also pretty nice. And the new Arc 1 spellment paths are okay, I guess. I just didn't really care much for them as I think they would want me to. I mean, I personally just don't use a whole lot of Arc 1 spells to begin with. I mean, maybe they'll be used for a strategy. I don't know, but I just don't necessarily care about any of the new paths or whatever. I really don't care much about it, right? But yeah, let's talk about the things that I don't like about the whole Spellment system rework that they're doing, or the 2.0 thing. I do not like the resets being removed after so many years. I just think that's something that they could have kept in. It just kind of seems weird to just take it out now. And I also don't like that the upgrades are permanent after so many years as well. So again, it's like, it feels like we're going a little bit backwards with Spellments. I mean, these are just things that, I mean, just could have stayed in the game. I don't know why all of a sudden it's a problem for them, but it's their philosophy of the gaming culture, but it is what it is. And I also don't like how when you retrain the spells, even if you upgraded the spell using Spellments, you still have to retrain all the spells. So your upgrade will stay the same. So like, for example, let's go to like something like Vampire. If I went to tier 5 Vampire and I reset my training points, it would give me all my training points back. Now, previously, or at least currently, depending on when you're playing, which I recommend you do it soon, you can basically use Vampire as a little bit of a checkpoint in order to get Faint, so you don't have to retrain all the other spells just to get Faint. And you guys know that in order to get Faint, it takes a lot of spells. So using Spellments was an easy way to basically get around that and just save up on some training points. But now, with this upcoming update, that's basically just going to remove the feature entirely. So even if you upgrade a spell, especially if it's an off-school spell, you'll still have to retrain it and re-unlock it in order to actually use it in your deck. So yeah, we're definitely going to see a lot of people kind of being cautious about where they're using their training points, just because there's not really going to be enough training points left to train a good majority of spells. And there's a lot of spells in this game, which also comes to the conclusion of, well, do we need more training points? And absolutely, we definitely do need more training points eventually. But until then, I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of happy faces about it. And quite honestly, we probably won't even see a lot of people dual schooling anymore, considering how you do need a couple more training points. So again, it's all subjective. It's all up to whatever. Pretty much a good chunk of the Spellment update is probably not going to bother most people. But if you're someone like me that goes raiding a lot, well, I mean, I got this awesome gear. That was like the last raid I needed to complete. I mean, I could care less now. I got my gear. I'm out. I don't care anymore. But for other people, though, it's just going to suck in general. But either way, it is what it is. Now, I have a little bit of some ideas that they could do. Not anytime soon or ever. Just some ideas, you know, just a little brainstorm. A Spellment conversion system, which I've been saying for years. Converting Spellments that we don't want into Spellments that we actually want, you know? Especially if you only play on one character, you know? I know that the rest of you guys have like 50 or 500 level 180 accounts. I know, I hear it all the time. And I understand that people play on multiple characters, so do I. But in terms of just playing on one main character, though, that might be beneficial for some players, right? Another idea could be like a Spellment trading system. Maybe you can give players or maybe some of your friends some Spellments that you don't want, and then maybe they can give you Spellments that they don't need either. You know, that might promote some social interactions and stuff like that. But Wizard101 or KI, they are very weird about trading in this video game. That goes all the way back into the whole bizarre situation, which that we're not going to talk about that anytime soon. But that's just a spitball idea that I just thought of, you know. And another idea, which they did mention a little bit in their, I think, developer diaries or in one of the Discord notes or whatever, provide more ways of obtaining Spellments. Right now, you can obtain Spellments pretty much anywhere. They're all over the place, but maybe they could add in some additional stuff, maybe by leveling up pets, or maybe some seeds besides just Beast Rune seeds, or maybe some daily assignment rewards as well. It could be another way to unlock some Spellments here and there. Maybe even fishing if it's not already in the game already. And then maybe double Spellment drops as well with double reagents. So maybe you can get double the Spellment drop. That would be pretty cool. But again, that's just some ideas that I have about Spellments, and just like that, we're done talking about Spellments. It's up to KI to kind of figure out what they want to do with that system. I mean, it's been about like 5 years, and they still just seem like they're still kind of missing the mark with the community, and it looks like the community still, in general, has their fair share of complaints, right? And you can't even be like angry at the community. I mean, we've been playing this game for years and years and years, you know? I think people just want the best for this game, and you know, when you have something controversial like that happen, it kind of just, you know, takes the flavor out of the updates, you know? So hopefully they come back to that, you know, in the future. Maybe it will take, you know, maybe a week, maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years to figure it out. 10 years, I don't know, 20 years, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years to figure out Spellments. But yeah, that's the situation with that, and enjoy. So let's talk about all the other actual fun stuff about the update. Let's talk about the Hidden Temple Gauntlet, which is also really cool. Love the gameplay of it, absolutely amazing. It's actually a reference to a old Nickelodeon show that Collect With Me, and usually I don't really understand most of Wizard101's pop culture references because I'm a dummy. I usually don't pay attention to pop culture stuff, but that was the one that really like caught me by surprise. Like as soon as I went into the dungeon, I was like, hang on, wait a second, I've seen this before. But I love it. There's multiple choices that you can do, you know, multiple entryways, a little bit like Legends and Legends, but overall it is just a fantastic experience. I absolutely loved it. And check this out. There's no badge required to craft the gear, which they added in one of their recent patch notes, which I don't know. And again, I mentioned this in my other videos. KI is very confusing. I don't know if that's going to stay the same. They might re-add that badge requirement. If they do, it's fine. Like I said, I'm still going to run it with my low-level characters and stuff like that. But that's pretty cool, though. You know, you just craft the gear as soon as you get enough reagents and then figure that out, right? And it doesn't seem too bad difficulty-wise, in my opinion, which could be subjective. I did run it on the test realm, so I'm sure it's going to be way different on live realm. Hopefully, no bugs or glitches. I mean, they seem to be pretty on top of that, at least in the test realm. The drop rates felt surprisingly good, at least towards the last final boss. And I don't know if it's a bug or a glitch, but I think I got like 3 pieces of gear, which in my opinion is a lot, and I'm not used to. I'm usually used to getting either just a piece of gold or reagent or nothing, but that's insane. And again, I play this on test realm, so that could be completely different in the live realm, but I'm hoping it's not, but I know it will, right? I'm just in denial. Now the gear stats, I mean, they're decent, but it wasn't anything like too crazy. That might be subjective to your own school. I mean, regardless, though, you should just check out the gauntlet either way and then just see what you can craft from there. I mean, the gear, I mean, stat-wise, again, it's just like, I already have a bunch of raid gear. It's something I wouldn't go too crazy about. And design-wise, you know, it's decent. It's nothing like insane. That also might be super subjective as well. You know, it's nothing like this. Alright, okay, not like this. Alright, I will be keeping this for a very long time. Okay, you guys don't understand how long it took me to do that raid, okay? Alright, it took me a very long time, and we finally locked in. Thank goodness, right? Never again, dude. But I haven't checked out the secret boss, which is a familiar face from Zephyria. I won't spoil who it is, but we'll definitely be checking that out when it hits the live realm. But pretty cool stuff. Alright, let's talk about magic weaving rank 5. You know, I feel like in the beginning I really liked magic weaving, but during my time with it, I kinda like, I don't know, something about magic weaving kinda just like, it seemed cool at first, but then it's like, there's really nothing much going for it. I mean, you get these really cool spells, like I can show you right now, at least for a life wizard that's weaving in the storm. You get like this energy blade, you get energy attenuate, you get these, you know, cool spells and stuff, but it's like, going beyond from there, it just doesn't seem like it's worth the time and effort, you know? You only get those 2 extra training points, and at least from my knowledge, that's about it. Now, it would be cool if that you would get a training point per rank. That would be cool, and that would kind of help out a little bit of the training point economy. Not much, but that would help out just a tiny little bit. But when it comes to weaving, I don't know, just something throws me off. And especially that one myth spell, right, that I thought I was going to get, but, you know, it's only for myth wizards that are weaving in the life, and it kind of made me really super sad. But yeah, for the new spells, they're cool, I guess. You know, just, you know, reskinned type of spells, you know, recolors, all that stuff. You know, they're cool. You know, they have their little perks here and there. I think a good majority of players probably won't care much about magic weaving in general, just because it just seems like, again, a chore. Sometimes the spell cards just might seem a little bit too overwhelming to understand, or just seem like a lot. The main player base just wants to use a blade, mass feint, and just hit. I don't think a lot of people really care much. Maybe if you go raiding, or maybe if you go PvP, or maybe if you do challenge mode, then yeah, maybe they might come in handy for a potential strategy. But again, those are contents that a lot of the community also does not engage in as well. So for me personally, I just am not, you know, I just don't care much for magic weaving, so it's kind of hard to really give it a ranking, or at least see how I feel about it, because I just really don't care. Now there is a little Omni badge for getting rank 5 on all the weaving schools. I just think it would be cool if there was a unique reward for doing that, maybe like a gear set or something like that. I just feel like if you're going to get rank 5 magic weaving on all the schools, or at least all the schools that are available, depending on what character you play on in their school, I just feel like there should be a little bit something extra. But hey, I digress. It's whatever. It's their game. They can figure it out. But yeah, you don't really get any extra training points per magic weaving rank at least from what I know. But anyway, that's magic weaving. Now let's talk about Decorator Buddies, which is another pretty cool part of the update. There's really not much else to explain about it, that you can have a friend help you decorate your castle. And it's really cool, so make sure to check that out in Live Realm. And hopefully no bugs and glitches with that. Alright, let's talk about the Aberrant Paradox boss rematch. Ooh wee! This was fun. And I'm honestly surprised I had this much fun with it. I also didn't write down the whole caramel challenge mode experience. Standard mode is super easy, so you really shouldn't have problems with caramel for a while now. If you do it in challenge mode though, it is a little fun. I didn't really see like any of the drops because obviously I can't solo it. But yeah, it seemed really cool, so make sure to check that out if you're just bored or whatever. But for the boss rematch though, which is the Aberrant Paradox, standard just seems like a super easy thing to do. It's just that the main boss has a ton of health, so you might want to switch over to challenge mode, which obviously you're going to have stat caps. It's a level 180 stat cap, which actually surprised me. That caught me off guard, so pretty cool stuff right there. It's very engaging. I like how they hit hard, you know, like a good rough hit boss, you know. Maybe you might need a healer, which would be cool too, but overall it's pretty cool. I loved the whole experience. I made the video about it. You guys saw that. I loved it. It was a pretty cool boss rematch. It's just like the pretzel sticks thing, and this is again another reason why a lot of people don't do these types of contents like boss rematches, is that you need a lot of resources. Now, in order to craft this one, you'll need the pretzel sticks, which you can find in caramel. Now, the thing is, they have some rematches that you can craft in the guild house. However, that's not one of them. So I hope in the future, or maybe if they can slide it in the live realm, that they could actually make this boss rematch available to craft with Azoth, because I think that would be another nice little alternative way to use Azoth, or even use the aged Ichor that y'all did with Dark War. Maybe that would also be a nice little solution to that. I don't know. But yeah, it's a pretty cool boss rematch. I like it. I don't know if a lot of people will do it though. The rematch crafted gear though, design wise, is sadly just a specialist gear design, which kind of really stumped me out. I'm hoping it's just a placeholder, but it's not a placeholder, and I know I'm just in denial again. But that one was really kind of sad. I was like, I saw it and my jaw just dropped. I was like, really? But, you know, it is what it is. I know these devs work super hard every day. But, as always, nothing will ever top of this gear. I mean, come on, look at this. I got floating little rocks around me. Look at that. Look at that. Dude, look at that. Doesn't that look cool? Tell me that doesn't look... I got, like, little meteorite shards on the sleeves of my arms. Like, look at that, dude. You can't tell me that's not a cool stitch, bro. Look at the boots. The boots are shining. Look at that. You can't tell me this outfit ain't clean, bro. Look at that. I got horns on top of my head. That's tough. Now, overall, the boss rematch was really fun, though. Stat-wise, I'm still not really sure about it, but again, if you want to craft it, feel free. You'll probably need the badge per usual because it will be badge locked, yada yada yada. But pretty cool stuff. Alright, let's talk about the Portal of Peril, which is finally coming back after all these years, or what it feels like years, but it really has been a very, very long time. If you guys don't know much about the Portal of Peril, it's actually in the fairgrounds, and you can visit this yourself. Obviously, it's going to be inactive, but they used to have it back in the olden days, back in the previous spring update, and it launched really poorly, and it was kind of embarrassing, so they just kind of took it down forever. And yeah, in this spring update, they tested it out, and I'm just fingers crossed it works this time, man, because I would love to see the return of Portal of Peril. And I also like the rewards too. They're pretty much the same exact rewards. You know, still the skeleton key is here for just some bizarre reason for 400 coins. I don't know why you would spend that many 14 coins on a single gold skeleton key. I don't even know why they even offered this. Maybe if they offer like a stone skeleton key, I'd rather spend it on that. But like, no bueno. Can you get this out of here, please? Like, why is this here in its own little its own little tab? Like, why? I don't get it. But yeah, you can get spellments and all that fun stuff. And in Test Realm, you can craft the Outsider Relics, which is also pretty handy and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff overall. They also have some new treasure cards and fun stuff like that. But when I tested it out in the Test Realm, I personally didn't notice that many bugs or glitches, besides like maybe one or two that they already patched. But I want them to test out the multiplayer side of it, because I think when they do it in the co-op, I think that's when we see a lot of bugs and glitches. And I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that they really take their time with this, because if they have to take down the portal or peril yet again because of some unknown bug that happened in live realm that didn't happen in test realm, then that's going to be really upsetting, and it's just going to be really sad. So I don't know, fingers crossed for that. But yeah, lots of testing should go into it, and overall, it's a really nice free-to-play event. I just really want it to work, man. I think a lot of players do, you know? So we'll see. Alright, so some other stuff that's been happening. Magic Mirror update. You know, additional hairstyles are cool. I mean, nothing much to say there. More hairstyle, that's pretty much it. PvP changes. I don't care for PvP if you guys know me or if you're new. I just genuinely just do not like PvP. I just think it's boring. But I'm glad that they are going after the stallers or the people that just, you know, jade a lot. They gave Diego like a 20-minute or 30-minute timer. I'm not sure, but I like that. And hopefully they continue to do that and just keep going after the jaders. Or they could try and ban gear, but... Whoa, Richard, you're gonna get the PvP players all perked up. Whoa, they can't ban gear, bro. Yeah, okay, hey, look, I'm sorry. I play a lot of Overwatch competitive, and we're always banning heroes like Jetpack Cat and Sombra and Dominia. I'm sorry, alright? I'm sorry. Jeez. Don't put me on a cross. My God, relax. Beast Moon, nothing much. And they've said it over the previous patches that, you know, they already did the last, like, beast form and stuff like that. So there's really not going to be that much updates for Beast Moon for a while, besides a new schedule and whatnot, and new little pets and all that fun stuff. But, you know, for the most part, Beast Moon is still fun, so make sure to check that out. Some quality of life stuff. The UI, which they've did for most of the vendors, or all the vendors, the new UI is throwing me off, and I have no idea why. There is just something about the new UI that just, like, I don't know, it kind of irks me a little bit. Like, I just feel like it's kind of bland, mediocre, like, it's not really cool looking. You know, and it's crazy because I actually prefer what we have right now, where I can just go up to a vendor and talk to them and then just cycle through whatever I need. But what they do or don't have right now is the filter button, when you can actually just search for an item. So maybe they could do a little bit of a hybrid thing, or maybe a setting like that. I would love for them to have the filter in here. Then I can just search to whatever I want. And I would love to just scroll through here and stuff like that. It's definitely going to be a subjective part of the update. I personally don't like it, and I know some other people also don't like it, so it's not just me being a hater, you know, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe it would be cool to just have the option, but I don't think they have the knowledge or the technology or the coding prowess to really do that right now. Like, they're already kind of deep into it to the point where we're probably just gonna have to live with it, unfortunately. So make sure to take a picture of the old UI for vendors if you start getting nostalgic. But yeah, I don't really care much about that. Don't care much about the first time user experiences. I think they like took off one of the pet quests or whatever in the beginning, which is fine. I don't really care much about it because again, this is for first time user experiences. So yeah, I don't really care much about that. They can keep doing that. Miscellaneous stuff, which is the final thing to talk about. I am not the biggest fan of them banning dispels from advanced content such as challenge mode, raids, and just overall PvP. I'm just not the big fan of this. It makes raids such as the Void kind of hard or even impossible because that's one of the spells, Elemental Dispel, to use against the Nullity or Jaguar or even like Gobbler. And even in the Ghastly Conspiracy raid, you use Entangle to stop the one boss from using Lord of the Jungle. If you guys know on the right side, you know what I mean. So that's also going to be a hassle to kind of figure out what to do there. I mean, I guess you just take the hits and pray that you don't get bullied a lot. But another problem with the Void raid is that they applied the Shadow Fusion update universally to all the mobs, which means that they're getting hit hard and then they're getting those little fusions. So it just makes everything a lot harder now. So I feel like after this update, I think the Void Raid is just going to be done. Like, if you still want to do the Void Raid, I highly recommend you do it now while Dispels are not banned, because after this update, it's going to be really difficult to do that raid. And the Void Raid is really fun. It is a genuinely fun raid. I love putting all the newcomers there as their first time experience. And it's just kind of sad that now we're going to have to think of probably a new strategy. I mean, I don't even know how, but someone's going to have to just make a new strategy. And even then, we're not going to see a lot of guilds run the Void Raid anymore because nobody wants to go in blind because it takes resources to make the raid key. And again, you got to join a guild and this whole thing with the guild cooldown, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and these are just more reasons, again, why people are not engaging with these contents. You're not making these contents accessible anymore. That's just kind of why a lot of people aren't doing Spellments. You're not going to see a lot of people do the boss rematches. You're not even going to see a lot of people do challenge mode because, again, it's not accessible. So, again, it's just like, and even PvP. PvP is another good one. I know that has been a big complaint for a couple of years now. I don't know. It's just a lot to think about. So, in my opinion, I've said this for years, they should probably make a separate type of banning. So maybe this card is banned in like PvP, and you can still use this card in like raids and stuff like that. And I've been saying that for years, but right now I don't think, again, they have the technology, which is really sad to say. It's really depressing to say. I don't think they have the knowledge to do that. Maybe in the near distant future, but as of right now, whenever a spell gets banned, it's kind of like across the board, except for traditional PvE. But again, it just sucks that, you know, the dispels have to be banned, unfortunately. I like the new removal treasure cards from Madame Magda at the Portal of Peril, which is also pretty cool. I love seeing new treasure cards. You can buy an additional bric-a-brac elixir that can be purchased at one of your castles, which is also a big plus for a house and decorator. It's pretty cool. I like the Monstrology fixed extractability on certain mobs, especially in Darkmoor. That's really cool too. I love Monstrology. And overall, I love all the other bug fixes as per usual. So yeah. Overall, that is the Test Realm overview. And that's basically all I have to say about it. So overall, it's a pretty decent update. I mean, minus the whole Spellment situation, it's a pretty decent update. But as I say every year, kind of the formula with KI is that the spring and then the summer updates are going to be a lot of content drops that a lot of players don't really engage in, such as raids in the summer, which I will probably be doing, but probably a good chunk of y'all won't be doing it because, again, it's inaccessible, it's annoying, and it's just too much work overall. You know, I mean, please, it was too much work for me to get this mother-loving gear set, dude. Took me almost 3 years. You know how long 3 years is, dude? Bro, finally. I had to cancel the raid like 50 times, and we finally just locked in and got it done. Dude, literally, I am happy with... Dude, I feel like that, with that boss fight, I beat the game. Like, I beat the game. Like, literally, that's it. Like, I'm happy right now. That's all I ever wanted. Nothing else. I don't even care what the new raid gear looks like. I'm still keeping this one on, bro. I'm still keeping this one on. Like, never again. And I hope that the new raid is 8 players too. Don't go back to 12-player raids. It doesn't work. There's not enough players in this game to support 12-player raids anymore. Please. Please don't do it again, man. I can't stand making 12-player rosters, and then someone has to leave, or someone gets sick, or someone's laptop busts. Like, it just breaks in the middle of the raid, or someone disconnects. Like, don't do no more 12-player raids. I can't, bro. I can't. Yeah, that's a lot to get off of my chest. But yeah, like I said, spring, summer, usually nothing. But then in the winter, that's when we get that big old content drop. And that's when we get like a new world, new increased level cap, new world spells, and some other nice little things. But yeah, for the most part, it's a pretty decent spring update. You know, it's there. I mean, you know, you can still probably play it without a membership. I don't really think you need to buy a membership, but you know, it's there to play. So, you know, have fun with that. And when the new gauntlet does come out, which obviously will have its own little release date, I'll buy it, and then all you guys have to do is just add me as a friend in the game, right? Or send me a friend code or whatever, and I'll just enter it. And then go to the castle tours, and then just go to my castle, and then you can basically play it right there completely for free. So make sure to check that out whenever it does release. I don't know when it's going to release. Hopefully during my next payday. But yeah, until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Let me know what you guys think about this spring update in general. Do you guys have some concerns? Do you guys have some issues? Or are you guys still 50-50 on it? Let me know what you guys think. And until then, have a wonderful day. And peace out.